Okay, today is the 31st of January. Oh, shit. Today's the 31st of January. It's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Busiest week I've had in a long time. We've got 4 projects running concurrently. 2 proposals due. 1 conversation just started. And it's exciting. It's very exciting because things are growing very quickly. Now, I don't think this growth will keep up forever. Basically, I think what's going to happen is, to be fair, it doesn't matter a whole lot what happens or doesn't. There's just a guy staring out his window. That was really weird. Anyway, I think like now we need to double down on fulfillment, and we've scaled to new kind of requirements as far as fulfillment goes, and we need to be meeting those very, very well to keep all of those clients, retain them after, retain them for a long time, essentially. And that's really what's going to make a difference. Also, these retainers are lower than I'd like them to be, and so to hit the LTV goals that I have, we have to keep them for longer, and that means transferring, because some of these projects are meant to be kind of closed scope things, right? So some of these projects are things which are meant to last X amount of weeks or months and then meant to stop. And I mean, that's normal in the space that I work in, which is obviously development, but basically I have to get most of these into maintenance retainers to hit the LTV goals that I have. Now, I was just thinking about reflecting a little bit on marketing and messaging, and if I wanted to promote something, I don't know why, but I just watched this clip of Simon Sinek, I think that's his name, which I've seen before many times, I think, and he uses the example of Apple, but it's like most people will advertise what and how. So he draws this little circle with 3 circles going down to the middle, and he starts with this this circle about what. So we make computers that are great, right? We make computers that are great. And then he says, okay, well, that's pretty basic. Some companies will go ahead and say, we make computers, we design beautiful interfaces that make computers great, or whatever. And then he says what Apple does that most companies don't do is that they go one level deeper and they go into the why, right? The why is at the middle of the circle, then it's how, then it's what. And so it's we believe that computers should be amazing, and the interfaces, we believe that an interface should be very intuitive for people to use. And therefore, we make, trackpads and, whatever else, right? So therefore, we do the things that we do, and therefore, eventually, the what is kind of self-explanatory. I think I'm doing a terrible job of relaying it, but I think it just got me thinking about if I want to promote something, I should start with the why, because that's what people identify with. And instead of talking about the benefits and stuff like that, as we believe doing this shouldn't be this complicated, and whatever else. And that statement has to hit a real pain point. Because if it's not a real pain point, obviously that doesn't resonate. But if it is a real pain point, then I think that resonates with a lot of people. And that's just a thought I had, because one of the ideas I have now is, okay, I'm trying to hit 800 grand this year. And I'm a while away. And with the current projects, I'm still going to need to scale things up a decent amount. And as I acclimatize to this new level of fulfillment, as in getting used to fulfilling on, let's say, 4 or 5 projects, that's gonna, I'm gonna need capacity to eventually do, maybe 6 or something concurrently. And the way I see things is I have to then maintain really high standards, but that's still not going to get me to my goal, and I'm going to need better quality leads and stuff like that. And so I'm probably going to have to run some kind of, I got to figure out some kind of strategy that will get me either better quality leads and or more leads. So I need to yeah, I think basically there's this marketing task that is in the back of my mind, kind of circling. But to be fair, I like to think about things that I probably shouldn't. So, for example, like I'm worried about this stuff when really I have to be doubling down on today's work and tomorrow's and next week's, and getting those proposals, as soon as possible, getting everything done, everything in order, really quickly. That's essentially that's what people value, right? And also that's yeah. Um, I have this. Yeah, I have to finish a bunch of development work tonight. There's just a lot of to-do stuff, which is basically just me fulfilling on stuff. But I'm willing to put in the hours. But I will say, having a friend over at the moment has made it a little more challenging because obviously I have kind of, at least just for this week, split priorities. And that definitely introduces a new angle, and I would not consider it. Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm going to have to kind of dial in afterward. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely limited room for social life, but I'm okay with that, to be fair. I really am. But yeah, that's where things stand. I started with the virtual assistant today. I didn't manage to delegate my email and stuff, so it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to figure that out. I don't know why it's not working properly. Yeah, she only started today, so I'm going to see how things go over the next week, and that's when really I'll start to be able to make some more, like, insightful comments about whether this actually saved me time or not. What else am I doing? I need to post a bunch of vlogs that I've filmed but haven't actually put out. I also need to decide on the next video I want to record for, like, basically the next, like, proper video, if you will, rather than just this kind of, like, what is effectively a video diary. What else is on my plate? I don't know, half a dozen other things. There's just so many little bits and bobs. And I'm having trouble finding things I could outsource to my assistant immediately, but to be fair, I think that comes with time. I think you have to give it time for people to acclimatize, but she's, like, what I'm paying is so cheap that it's worth me just paying and figuring out whether she adds value or not. Because if she does, it'll probably take a decent amount off my plate. Also, considering that I'm now managing, I'm going to be managing maybe 5 projects, something like that. Like, the volume of work has increased, and so some operations help is probably welcome. But we'll see. And I'm only going to find that out probably 2-3 weeks. I need to actually have some context about whether it's useful or not. I think assistants are generally useful. I think it's on a case-by-case basis, though. Like, an assistant can be a game changer, but it can also be a time suck, depending on how you use it, depending on the assistant, depending on, are they good, are they not? What kind of work do you do? If you're a programmer who has, like, 0 calls a day, and you're like, all you do is a software engineer, you don't really need one. Maybe with some life admin, but I avoid most of the life admin stuff by just living with family most of the time. Makes my life a hell of a lot easier. But yeah, that's the situation, at least for right now. I was just reflecting on things earlier, though, as I was walking back from somewhere, and thinking about, like, I've kind of made, like, life is pretty much everything I want it to be, which is pretty cool. Like, I may not be, running as big a company as I ultimately have ambitions to do, but it's a start, and it's, like, already permitted me the kind of freedom that I want, and to see it, like, and not to feel it growing in real time feels pretty crazy, but it's taken a lot of patience to get here. Don't let the internet fool you. That's all I can say. The internet likes to feed off your need for instant gratification. Trust me, we all have that built in, so don't feel bad about it. You don't have to feel shit, but I would highly recommend, as much as possible, try and block that out of your brain, because it's toxic and it will basically leach out all of your energy because you feel like you're not making shit happen. But it's not the case. Things just take a lot of time. You gotta be patient, especially as a young person. That's probably a big challenge because as a young person, literally, like, let's say 5 years or something, that's, if you're 20, that's a quarter of your life. If you're 50, that's 10%. Those are different. And there's a study that showed this. People perceive time differently. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm heading back home. Gonna have dinner, and then head right back to work. And then probably go out to Lisbon tomorrow, like the city, with my friend. So that's the plan. Yeah.